Time for an update on this Bosch cooktop. Now this is the third cooktop that's been installed. The Bosch service agent came out today to install this cooktop, and yet again it's got the same issues as the other ones. This is the cheap Audi unit, and I shouldn't keep saying cheap, I should say an expensive Audi unit, because this unit actually works, unlike the Bosch unit. Now, I don't know if my expectations are too high, but I do expect it to do at least what's in the manual. So the manual says boiling potatoes. Let's just line this up properly. Boiling potatoes should be 4.4 dot to 5 dot, which is 4.5 to 5.5. The unpeeled potatoes is 4.5 to 5.5, 25 to 35 minutes. We've got 15 to 30 minutes here. Now I'm not going to take that much of your time with this video. I know the last one was longer, but I'm doing the tests a slightly different way today. I'm still using the 2 cups of water. 1, 2, and I'm using one of my induction pots on the Audi cooktop, just because I don't have 2 of the fancy Bosch ones which they claimed would work on their cooktop, but clearly don't. They actually work on the cheaper one, which I'll show later on, but here we go. So we'll start off. We'll give the advantage to Bosch. We'll turn this one on first. Just power it on. And then we're going to set it to 5 with the dot, which is 5.5, which they've explained to me since I made the last video. And with this one, we're going to set it to 3, which is 900 watts. See if you can have a look here, if I get the angle right. It goes 300 watts, 600, 900, 1200, 1400, 1600, 18, 2100. So this cooktop, the particular burner I've got should be a 2200 watt. I think the lowest one they've got is a small one at the back, which is 1800 watt, but they all perform the same, equally bad. So we've got this, which is setting 3 from 8, and this is setting 5. Now what they tell me, there's 9 settings on this unit, and each of them have an intermediate setting. So if you click on the dot in between the settings, you will get extra half heat. So we'll just watch. If we have a look here, already we're starting to see little bubbles on the bottom here. There we go here, and minute amount of bubbles. The Audi cooktop is clearly outperforming the Bosch. Now this is not a promotion for Audi products. This is just what I've been given as a loan from my mother-in-law, because Bosch couldn't do anything about me not having a cooktop. I purchased the original unit on the 11th of August 2020. It's nearly been well, it's a month and a half. Yeah, the 25th of September 2020. Okay, we're starting to see some bubbles here. And still, here, I can quite comfortably put my finger in there. I'm not a man of steel. I wouldn't be doing that in this pan at the moment. But this is just to demonstrate the issues that I'm having with this Bosch cooktop. Yeah, starting to see a little bit of steam coming off the top there, but nothing compared to what we're seeing from the other induction cooktop, which is almost at a simmer. You're seeing the bubbles getting angry there on the bottom, and we're seeing a few little bubbles here, but still, I'm still quite happy to put my finger in there and be comfortable that I won't get burnt. So, as you can see, we've got a quite comfortable simmer out of the Audi brand induction cooktop, and you can see, well, from the lens fogging up, you can see the steam coming off the top. As you can see here, still quite willing to put my finger in there. So now, just to demonstrate, it's not an issue with the pan, even though the other pan is the one that Audi provided. We'll just swap the pans over, and we'll see what happens to the one that had a fast simmer on it a minute ago. Both of these are induction pans, so we'll give it a minute. This one's already losing its boil, but now this one is starting to get some bubbles, so we can see just, so we haven't cooled this one down any, we've just taken them from one burner to the other. Now we can see this one starting to warm up. This one still has a few bubbles, but that's residual heat, but it's nowhere near the simmer that it had on the other cooktop. But as you can see, we're starting already to get a lot more steam and activity out of the Bosch cooktop. There we go. been no change to the settings. Both of them are on exactly what they were. As you can see, the Bosch pan they supplied is now starting to come up to the fast simmer. So you can clearly see the differences in performance between an expensive Bosch unit and an inexpensive Audi brand unit. I've had no luck with Bosch whatsoever. All I wanted for them to do is fix this unit and make it function as well as advertised in their manual. Okay. There's a clear difference in performance. Let's just see if we can, well, we're going to use the Bosch on the Bosch cooktop and just see if we can get it up to the same sort of performance. So we're just going to whack this up to 8. And there we go. Right, we'll drop it down to 7, see if we can still maintain the performance. This one's coming back up to the simmer now. So it's on level 7. The Bosch is performing equivalent to 900 watts in level 7. I've tried cooking on this cooktop. You can't cook on it. You cannot get your heats right. You cannot, well, it's basically useless. You have one temperature on the Bosch that gets hot, and it really doesn't get that hot. If you put a steak in the pan on 9, the heat goes straight out. We're going to whack it up to 9, get this really going, and then we're just going to whack this one all the way up. So these both should be performing at peak performance. You can see there the boiling on the cheaper unit is still, that is just a hard simmer. That is what I would expect from level 4 or 5. Now in this, there's only been 2 cups of water. Imagine if you had a pot full of potatoes. It just, now let's drop this back down to 5 with a dot. Look, it does not maintain the heat. We'll drop this one down to it's on 4 now. Let's just go back down to 3. We still have fast simmer there on 3. We have a few bubbles which are going away down to nothing on 5.5. So at 50% of its power, more than 50% of its power, well, its top power is 9, so 4.5 would be 50% of its power. You're not getting even a simmer out of this. So that should be, well, half the power should be 1100, so it should be around 1300 watts. My math isn't great, so bear with me. Just let's see. Let's say, well, four should be 1200 watts. And here's we've got what we've got. I'd love to hear if anybody has had one of these working, because I've now had 3 units and they're not working. I think Bosch should put a recall out on a lot of them and just scrap them.